You're on.
Call this meeting to order at 8:30. Let me get some of this semi-organized here. Okay, first order of business, welcoming of guests. Sean, would you like to say anything?
Sure. Thanks.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me. Just to give you a couple updates. It's been a while since I've been down. I'm sure Al will go over some of this. I won't go into a lot of detail. But one of the things we're working on this week is we've had some problems with the stilling wells at Elephant Butte. We've had with our SDR, that standard discharge recorder, they'll calculate.
What did you call the wells?
Stilling wells.
Stilling wells.
So that's where we measure the elevation of the water in Elephant Butte.
Okay.
So we're actually this morning, the SDR had to go offline so that we can replumb it. And we're putting in I believe a clean out for it as well to help maybe work out some of the issues that we've had over the last year with some of the elevation ups and downs. So it should go back online, I believe, tomorrow afternoon. We'll take another survey that afternoon, and then I think we're going to have USGS come out to do a comparative survey to make sure everything's okay, and hopefully that'll fix some of the issues we've been having. A lot of it, I think, was from how low the Butte got last year with and all that sludge buildup. That caused some of the issues, but to make sure we were just going to take some of these precautions and clean it out, replumb it, and add this clean out. Hopefully that'll fix a lot of the issues. So just want to give you a heads up on that. There'll be emails, I'm sure, to the Rio Grande Compact Commission, so they're aware as well. I know Al, Phil, and Michelle, the allocation committee met. We're presenting today at the 1906 meeting to give preliminary allocation to Mexico of 42,120 acre feet for this coming year. So that's, just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And then I believe some of you probably saw the ACAP tables for Elephant Butte and Caballo, the area capacity tables. We had this done back in 2017. Our technical service center in Denver, they've been really backed up. It's been kind of a grueling process to get these, but essentially we re-looked at sedimentation kind of build up in both Elephant Butte and Caballo. We implemented these new tables January 1st. Basically what it shows is about 13,000 acre feet of sedimentation has accumulated in Elephant Butte since we did it last, which was 2007, and about 425 acre feet sediment in Caballo. So that just, I'm not the technical person to really explain this, but basically it just shows that we're losing that capacity of storage in those by that much. So about, in Elephant Butte, about 1,400 acre feet a year of sediment has been kind of building up in there.
Wow.
So I believe, if you haven't seen it, we have a report for Caballo. The Elephant Butte report is still not finalized, but it should be finalized soon. Our technical service center is just finishing that up, and we'll supply that to the districts and IBWC and anyone else who'd like to see it.
And Yvette sent out
yeah. She said she should have sent you some information as well. And then probably the last thing I wanted to talk about, I guess Larry Vasquez out of our El Paso office sends out kind of a daily report. It's not really daily, I think it may be weekly. And we're just looking at revamping how the format of it and some of the information in it. I believe the last report he sent out had some skewed numbers for inflows at Elephant Butte, and I think they sent out a correction. But I just wanted to give you a heads up if any of you received that. We're looking at trying to just make it a little bit better information, more relevant. So we're working on that. And then the last thing, I don't know if you've heard, some of you probably heard, Brent Esplin was named our regional director up in Salt Lake City a few months ago, and his successor to his deputy regional director position is Wayne Pullen. He was the Provo area office manager prior to that. He's been in the region for quite some time, so he will become Howard and Boss. He'll be over the Albuquerque area office, so I'm sure he'll be at the Rio Grande Compact Commission. So you can probably meet him then, if you haven't already met him. And that's all I've got.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. Sure. As always, thank you for keeping us in the loop.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're sending Robert to the Mexico meeting.
Oh, great. All right, we'll be there with you. Okay, Robert,
You'll
we'll
keep
keep
it
it
straight, make sure I didn't say anything wrong.
Yeah, Robert, do you, let me get rid of, Robert, you want to not get rid of, do you want to say anything, Robert?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I wanted to ask a question. I know y'all don't have to respond. I've been here and done this. You know, the last time we had this much water was when Ed got the boot.
10 or 9 or 10?
Yeah, but, you know, at that time, our base water was done different, our excess water was done different, our water transfers were done different. And at that time, I used to help like Ramon and some of the guys, because I moved my water around. That was at the time when Ann Hill had passed away. And when Chewy took over, we had to move our water by the 1st of September. And then we were taxed, the way they changed everything was in November. And what it did, it bit me in the butt. I helped Dickie bills, which was a mistake. But I was just curious, and I like the way it is now. But so, you know, you're probably gonna change it because I like it. But when this, are they gonna stick to the same way they've been doing things with this full water? Are we gonna go back to the way it was? Because the way it was from the 70s, as far back as I can remember. Does that make any sense?
Well, it kind of makes sense to me, but it kind of doesn't too, because I think we're, you know, I don't think that we're planning any changes right now.
Okay.
We're not planning any changes to the way we're doing it now.
So in other words, it used to be that our first 2 acre feet, we paid for whether we used it or not on a farm rate. Is that the way it's gonna stay?
The reason that change was made was it has a long history to
Yeah.
it. So there's a law that we operate under, in fact our chapter's developed under, that requires that we separate the base charge, ROSA's, the tax on the land, from the water delivery charge.
The M&O versus the water
Yeah,
charge.
so we went under a legal audit with one of the lawsuits when the city sued us to take your water. They were trying to get your water. And during that review, we discovered, and it actually happened when Pfeiffer was still here before she took over. We did it, I think the year prior to you becoming general manager, maybe 2 years. And we just had to, we just didn't have any choice, that we had to go back and comply. So the reason that it hadn't complied all the years before is nobody had looked at it, number one. And number two, that was the way, because the reclamation came up with that, hey, we'll give you a base allocation. And Rose probably remembers that. That was a reclamation deal. And that's legal in New Mexico. You can do that in New
Yeah,
Mexico.
I know that's the way they do it over there.
Yeah, but in Texas, it's not.
So we're gonna do it the way we do now? Because at the time, I had to use all my water here no matter what was shitty ground, because I was paying for it whether I needed it or not, and I laid everything, you know. But if that's gonna stay the way it is now, I would rather have it that way.
Yeah, no, it has to stay that
Okay.
way. So
And then we had a deal where our excess water was charged different than our base water. Is that are we gonna stay with the same rate for everything?
that's up to the board. That's a
Up to the
decision
board
they
every
make
year.
every year.
Okay.
And they make it in their arrears. They don't make,
Right.
so you don't know until,
Yeah, well, that's sort of.
sorry.
Well, and then on our water transfers, we used to have to pay a fee plus an amount per acre foot we transferred. Is that are we gonna leave it the way it is now, or is it gonna go back to that?
Staying the way it is.
Staying the way it is.
Thank you very much.
Nothing changed.
All right.
All right, one more. Danny, you got anything you you just snuck in, okay. All right, let's go to Robert. Robert, we need to hear from you.
He says that we're not answering.
Give it to Andy an hour. We're gonna, I guess, Chewy moved me up because I'm going to meet with,
Going to Mexico.
yeah, I'm gonna go meet with Mexico and at EPCWID1, but I needed 3 things today, if possible, like the USBR said, there's the water plenty up there, and I think Al said that what, we started off with 301,000 now?
Yes, approximately, yeah. Not
So,
totally.
the three things that I kind of wanted to,
Yeah, I've been trying, and then your main number one answer is because you I've been trying for 10 minutes to get through it, and I can't get through. They gave me this number 8510960, and nobody ever picked up on it. I've called it twice, so that ring.
Oh, okay. My mistake, it's the satellite phone that's right in front of me. Go ahead and dial it again, and I'll be looking at it, and I'll get you in.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay. Okay, Robert, what is it?
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
so there's three things I'm kind of looking for today is to set a release date. So we can meet with the farmers tomorrow and kind of set them up as to when we release. Me and Al and Chewy have been talking about trying to set up the date of being March the 13th on a Friday.
Okay,
And hopefully the water will be here by the 16th, 17th.
okay. Well, we generally look at March, either first or the first is too early.
Yes.
And,
Yes,
and,
yeah.
and I guess, just so you all know, so the
Yeah.
board knows, is the allocation committee went ahead and has allocated, and we're at,
Well, it's not final, there's some legal stuff we have to take care of, but the preliminary allocation.
we have 301,795 acre feet, which would, 301,795, which would give us
4 feet.
4 acre feet, a full allocation.
If y'all feel comfortable,
Yes.
you do. To tell everybody they're gonna get a full allocation, and the water date release would be March 13th. That's two things. What was the third?
We're doing this for the cotton, right?
For everything.
You don't have to make a decision right now, I've got a full presentation, he's just telling you that just making sure that we're all synced up, and we are.
Okay.
So I guess I'll.
And so the recommendation that I will make after the whole presentation, for various reasons,
Sorry.
Is,
is that it's a full allocation, that you can announce a full allocation, or make that allocation today, and that, well, it's, you know, we don't use the word full, it's a 4-foot
4-foot
allocation.
allocation, right?
And that the release date be no earlier than March 13th. I think there's, when you talk about this right now, about the release date, I think Robert's opinion is there's so much ground under being ripped and prepared that there's gonna be the demand for it. You know, if for some reason there wasn't, we're not gonna just release the water. We feel
Right.
that we have a strong indication. We're under, Pete's not here yet.
Yeah, Peter.
Oh, there you are, way back.
He's hiding.
Yeah, is that we could use every day they wanna give us, right, Pete?
Right.
So we got, we have some big projects, and, but we're gonna stick to the 13th. Well, 13th, water will be here on the 13th.
At this point, is what you're ready.
The release is on the 13th, water will be here on the 16th.
And full allocation, that's possible, that's gonna come up a little later.
Yeah, well, we're not asking you to make any resolutions right now, he's just
And
telling
Robert,
his
you said three
opinion.
things, did you, what's the third thing?
We also have produced a small track scheduling and have a small track, if we go over the 28 inches, we got a possibility of giving small track the 10 watering. And we went ahead and made the schedule, and it's ready to go. And those people will start calling rows and pretty early. They already started to call down. So I guess the sooner we put out there, these people, the bunch of Y users get, what they do, Art, is they plan their vacation around the small track
Okay, that makes sense.
to be around.
So small tracks would start March 25th, and the last irrigation would be on September 20th.
Okay. Now, is that something the board usually approved, or?
No,
do we
but
let
we-
the management, but you like to let us know?
We'd like to
Okay.
run it through you all, and just so you all are aware of
That
it.
we're gonna be allocating, well, we're gonna be issuing out the 10 watering to the small track.
Which is that's from our study, that's exactly 48 inches.
Okay.
What was it last year? Was it the same thing?
The same thing. It was just pressured more into it.
But last year it was gradual.
Right, the only thing is, last year, since we started late, we were
Accelerated.
irrigating like every other week.
Yeah.
So, and I really like the schedule that Robert and his men and Kathy put together for small tracks, so.
It's tight.
Okay.
And then the 13th is the reason me and Julie want to do it, because today we're gonna meet with Manco. They're gonna probably wanna know when we're gonna release, so they got a plan to when they wanna start getting their
All right.
water.
Okay.
And then the last thing, and, it's the fourth, I forgot about the fourth one, but the return flow, and right now, talking to a bunch of the farmers, their ground is too wet, and they're still having a hard time harvesting their pecan, but we're talking about kicking off return flow February the 13th, providing there's enough acres. If not, we, prefer to see if we can hold it off to March the 1st, but we'll start taking orders once we get out to about 2,000 enough acres to start return flow. We'll fire it up to 2,000 acres, we can wipe it out for a week.
And that includes 9A, 9B?
9A and 9B and 7A,
8A.
8A and AB,
Okay.
except the Riverside where Pete's working.
There's, I know it's a full year and there's additional water that'll be allocated and hopefully will carry over significant water into next year even, so, and I'll give all that report I knew it, but for Robert's here, and he doesn't get to see the report because he's got to go to this other meeting, but I'll talk to him, we'll work this out in the next couple of months. I need, for the first release, for the first 2 weeks of the release, I need it to be as steady as possible. That doesn't mean that we don't change the gates, but that our order, like if you have an order of 800 down here, that we hold it, and we don't change the order because of trying to collect information on the river, and, well, we're the only ones on the river, so it's 10 days at least. That would do 3 days to get it down here, plus 10 days of steady. I know it's hard to do, but it's mainly making sure the farmers know that we're gonna be trying to do that. No shortage of water, I don't think any shortages, but if we have to, that means we might have to spill a little to make sure we've got it, if that's, the board understands that, it's
Okay.
part of the collection of data.
Okay. I did hear you say, well, we're the only ones on the river? Are you already getting indications
Well,
of
we-
BBID?
Well, no, they don't have the allocation.
Yeah, we don't know yet. Gary had talked about maybe the hatch area wanting to come on at the same time we came on.
Which will be fine, but it doesn't disturb the system, it's right there at the
Yeah.
dam.
Yeah.
So,
And then Mexico, traditionally, Mexico will want to go on when we go on.
I'll do it the other way. If EBAD goes on in the Mesilla Valley, same time we get it, I can't do it, I can't collect the data, there's no point to it, because it becomes chaotic. And, but when we're the only one on, if you vision between Percha Dam and American Dam, that we're the only ones using water, then I can assess
Do
the
some
losses.
calculation, sure.
Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with that nighttime, as you guys understand, we'll talk about it
Yeah.
later, but loss seems to go up when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
So-
Okay, yeah.
So, these are just like, we're saying, we're just kind of targeting days, but the cotton people, they're getting ready and they're asking me when we're releasing. They usually want their water around the 15th of March.
That's very true.
And then Al wants a steady, and so I got a feeling it's gonna be a lot of land out there asking for water to start off in March.
Well, there's a lot of pecan guys were warning around that time too.
We'll order it, please take it, is what
So
I'm
the-
saying, so we don't.
Well, that return flow though will be available too, February 13th, assuming there's enough water there. There probably will be, my guess.
Like I said, I just talked to some, they're still said that they're still too wet and from all this moisture they've been getting, so,
Well, that could happen too.
yeah, so, but
I'm
we
one
can
of
start
those.
flushing out the system.
Yeah, I got some black ground, I can't seem to get it dry. Okay,
So, do we target the 13th?
well,
For return flow, that's an interest.
No, that means
On the
that's
13th of March.
13th of March for
Well,
release.
it's gonna depend a lot on rain and all this stuff.
And all that stuff too.
Oh, yeah, we always adjust, it's just a target.
Yeah, target, yeah.
And we always
Yes.
say the demand is there,
Is the demand there?
but we need a target.
But what happens here,
So
Larry,
that you can tell the farmer.
first irrigation, it doesn't, rain or no rain, it doesn't matter. The cotton land's gotta be watered.
Cotton, yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, unless we get a 4-inch or
Yeah,
something, but we're
but
not.
I thought you were talking about the return boat.
oh,
Yeah,
return
that's
flow,
confusing.
we'll just open it up and once, you know, there's no use to try to go out there and try to irrigate, 100 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just take people, men from Pete, and, we're not gonna be doing nothing. Once we got about 2,000 acres, enough to keep us busy, and then it's worth going.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, without any board action, I think you can take that pretty good release date, March 13th.
March
Sound
Okay.
like we're in accordance with it. And so you let Mexico know.
So, well,
Oh, yeah.
thank you guys.
All righty.
See you next month.
See you next month. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Let's see here. Well, let's get back on our regular agenda here. Let's go to the minute from last board meeting, which was not last month, November 20th. Larry, George, you guys see anything? Anybody?
it's okay.
Okay, Chair will entertain a motion to approve minutes.
So moved. Second.
All right, moved and seconded by Larry and then George. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mary,
Morning.
good morning. Good morning, because it's not raining. Yeah, hope it doesn't.
All right, investment report. There were 2 SLG treasury bills coming in mature in December.
Oh,
And as if you notice, on the next following month, we received $134,500 in interest for those 2. Yes.
that's good.
And we went ahead and reinvested, but right now the rates have dropped. Our prior was 2.69 and it dropped down to 1.57.
Now, is that a treasury or are we talking about a CD?
A treasury
Okay. And that happened when?
in December.
December. Okay, I'm looking at November, that's what's happening.
Correct.
Okay.
Is Westar is still doing the 2 with us, or was that just a special?
That was, at that time, they were trying to meet the treasury bill
Treasury
rates
bill.
as well. Correct.
Maybe we could look to see again, right?
Yes. But as of today, I went ahead and pulled up a report on what the rates look like, and they're still at 1.56 for 6 months, 1 year is 1.52. So the rates have stayed
Yeah.
low in the last couple of months.
Now, the Westar dropped. Let's see, the one you got in early October was 1.1. And the one you got on the 21st was 1.8, let's see. And the 5th was an 18-month, and the 21st was a 12-month. So yes, as you guys can see, they're going up and down.
Yes.
All right, I skipped to December, I hope you guys did too. This,
And we can do so, unless you want to go over we can go over the 500 report for November.
Okay,
And then our balance sheet of investment, we all capture the 2 months.
okay, let's go. Yeah, let's do the 500 check, and then we'll go to your balance sheet that encompasses both months. Okay. So let's go to the November check report first.
What's that? The first one, the watering, the big one.
Yeah, that's, that's the Upper Valley crossing that failed on the Montoya drain, so that Pete's working on right now. But we had to dewater in order to keep from preventing the collapse again. So we're doing things a little bit different. Al has engineered and Pete's doing the work. So this is Western dewatering that's dewatering right now, and Pete says they almost have it where you want it, Pete?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and I should be ready by the time the pipe gets here.
And this under the contract that we have with Stormwater, this will be reimbursable by,
It's reversed.
oh, yeah.
Okay. Because I see it flowing over there on the Montoya, it's flowing,
Back to the river.
but, yeah,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna use it now. Oh, so we get reimbursed for the entire amount?
Mhm. Yeah, we'll bill them by the
City?
El Paso Water.
Yeah, we, on our agreement, we do the labor and they pay the material.
Oh, okay.
They use the drain too for stormwater.
Okay, then number 8, that
I think the dewatering was part of it.
the door entry system.
Is that, and also we have to pay that.
Okay, that's the keypad system that we have, security system for our building and our gates and so on. You know, we've been here 10 years. It's been a fast 10 years, but the other keypad system was failing, so we budgeted for this. You all approved us to seek a new system, and Pete and Lisa and some of the other staff met with several vendors, and we like this Pyrocom system. So they're in the process right now. They've done all the hard the wiring and so on, and they'll come back on Thursday, and they'll be working with Will on setting up the computer and so on that it takes to manage the system. And now every employee will have a ring that, you know, if they come into the building, they'll have to use their ring to open the doors and so on. And at the same time, it registers everything on the computer, who came in, at what time, and so on.
How many doors are we talking about?
Well, it's in the building, it's 6 doors, and then the gates, the main gates in front that go back into the shop, and then the pedestrian gate towards the back.
How about the other
And then
satellites?
the annex building,
But not
not Canutillo or Favors.
So this is a one-time deal, or is it?
Well, hopefully, hopefully it'll be good for another 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Then I'll come back to you all and ask for
Yeah.
if I'm still around.
What George asking, what I was gonna ask you, that 10,000, if it's good for 10 years, it's okay, but if you're,
Yeah.
okay, this is a 6 months payment, then we were gonna ask.
This other system, you know, it lasted 10 years, so it started failing a lot. Last year, we did a lot of work to it, so we decided to go ahead and rebudget for a new system.
Okay.
And improved. You know, it's like computers, it changes every so often.
Year and a half.
Line item 3, is that an annual deal, or what does that involve?
Yeah, that is work that EPCWID did to the Mesilla Dam.
Our share,
This is just our part of what we have to pay under that joint powers agreement.
Oh, so it's this times 4, I guess, 4 entities, or how?
Well, I know the Bureau of Reclamation pays for some of the,
Is it equal
Work.
to people?
we had some vandalism that occurred there to what they call the blockhouse. People broke in, vandalized some of the equipment and so on, so EPCWID had to patch it up so we could continue on with the irrigation season last year. But during the off-season, they went in there and did a lot of work to the gates and to the electrical system and so on.
How about that crossing, the bridge right there? Didn't we have a problem with that one time with?
There's still concerns about that.
There's concern about it.
Yeah, about that bridge. There's a lot of heavy traffic, and there's always, Al's concerned that it's gonna fail one of these days, and
Well, it'll fail during a flood. That's when they fail. That's the way dams work, so.
Is it still a one?
So we won't know it until it happens, so it's about a $20 million replacement.
Yeah.
It's still like the
That's
one
why
lane
I'm
that goes
concerned
across
about
of it, or?
Yeah, single lane, yeah, one way, I mean, that's.
Back in the old days, it used to only be pretty much stolen farms that would be using it now.
They used to have the city dump.
Yeah, now they.
Now there's a lot of development, a lot of homes back in the back.
Years I haven't been through this.
So there's propane trucks and delivery trucks of all sorts going over it.
It's the concrete trucks that are the,
Yeah.
then the propane trucks been the biggest weight loads.
But it-
Anyways, we've sent letters to them. And back to George's question, that we pay on a percentage based on how much we use that facility, so I believe it's around 25%.
Based on percentage?
Yeah, percentage of water,
I guess.
and allocation there.
So it can be spontaneous, that's not a set deal every year.
Well, the percentage
There's-
is set.
There's
I
some,
know,
Yeah,
but.
oh, the number, oh yeah, some years it's not much at all.
yeah, there's some maintenance that goes on every year.
So when it fails after the flood, it'll be about 5 million.
Yeah.
So would they.
So typically, it would be EPLD that takes care of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we doing anything?
And then Pete goes up there and does some work every once
Not yet.
so often.
I'll work with Reclamation, they've done some reviews of it.
We've made Reclamation aware of the bridge and our concerns and,
And EBIP, as far as I know, is working with the city and county
And the
to try
county
to come up with another crossing. But-
Right.
And they want to permanently shut that bridge off, but until they come up with a solution, I don't think they can.
You did?
I know that bridge real good.
Used to
Used
go
to cross it
swimming
when I
around.
was a kid, yeah. Swim up river.
We don't think that, it won't, there's no indication that under normal operation it will fail, so that everybody understands that. It's just, it'll be under an extreme flood condition when it's heavily loaded. Just like remember when our Riverside failed under that.
Yeah.
And it's, we had it under a high flow rate for, gosh, I don't know when Sean was there, but it was probably for
We had
11,
to
12 months.
do all that moving with the copper dam and.
Yeah, all that and the whole thing failed. So it was under an extreme condition. That's when they failed.
What year was that? No?
It was 86, wasn't it?
What's that, a long time ago?
But we had 5,000, or roughly 5,000 CFS there for a long time, and we were trying to drain the reservoir down, because, so it wouldn't be worse.
We had too much water.
Had too much water.
Well, what a problem to have, huh?
I think it's pretty much flooded out Hutchins too, didn't it?
Yeah.
Danny don't remember that either, we're going way back.
Yeah.
You guys, I worked for Hutchins at that time, you guys.
Yeah.
So,
That's where I was on this board. I forget, but I remembered all the problems.
I think your dad was on the board.
Yeah.
Any others?
Anybody else on that 500?
I'm okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's skip ahead. Unless you want to go, okay, we can skip that. See, let's go to the next month, which is December. Let me think, do we have quarterly, this isn't the quarterly thing yet, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it is?
And there will be a correction on the quarterly report. Just this morning, I received an update for the security pledges for
Okay.
the month of December. So those amounts have to be adjusted on the report.
All right, is that quarterly report in here? Oh, there it
Yes.
is. I found it. Okay. Okay, so here's where we were looking at the investment schedule. Okay, that's fine. Let's, like Mary suggested, let's look at the balance sheet there. Gentlemen, if you guys want to ask Mary any questions. I think I'm finally starting to figure it out a little bit, Mary. George, Larry, you got any questions on the balance sheet?
I think the last meeting, we talked about we switched for the telemetry to, away from Verizon or something. like that?
Oh,
Cell phones.
Yes,
Is that?
you'll see on the December bill, there's a Verizon bill, right, Mary? But I think that'll be the last one
Yes.
with Verizon, and then we'll,
I thought at the November meeting you said that it started before December.
We did have a final statement from Verizon from November that was paid in December.
Oh,
Okay, well, while we're there, let's look at
so
that.
we haven't paid for anything yet for the use.
no, we haven't received a bill yet from
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Should be less, I would think. Remember they
Yes.
switching for them, it seems like.
If you remember last month, it was amazingly cut, a lot larger, very small bill compared to the Verizon bill.
They had also applied a credit due to the issues they were having with the service, so they had applied a credit towards that balance.
So does that mean, that's so we're saying the bill's going up in a few months?
No.
Not with T-Mobile, no.
That's how I heard it.
Yeah, that's,
No, Verizon, for Verizon.
Oh, for
That's
Verizon,
different.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, actually,
All the
trying to get us back, yeah.
during the negotiations with T-Mobile, Mary estimated that we were gonna save like close to $1,000 a month or something like that.
Quite a bit.
Mhm.
Remember she told us.
How many lines do they total? I guess all the, man,
We've got, what was it, 36 cell phones? Yeah.
boy, I mean, just for everybody's information, I think Larry and I talked about it once. If you call them up, and go to the store, but you call them, tell them where you're located, and there's a rebate involved. They say it goes from San Diego to Brownsville. They're still in litigation, working on it. But right away, they knock off $20 per line.
Verizon?
Yeah. I don't know that would have to right now, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. And it works. That's the main thing. You can still, up in, I don't know about down here, but in the Upper Valley, you know, when you go across the river, and probably Pete knows, it dies on it. By UTEP, it dies on you. By Service, it dies on
You talking about
on
Verizon?
Upper Valley Road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's
really
the same things
frustrating.
down here. Yeah.
Oh, here as well.
It's frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
Mhm.
And what they mentioned last time, they used T-Mobile, they went all across the district everywhere, and it
Yeah,
worked fine.
I remember.
And forget about north of the freeway on like Horizon area, Verizon just doesn't work up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's bad.
All right, let's go to that 500 check report on December. And I want to start off first by reminding myself, Hub International, is that the D. Margot thing or the Ted Houghton? Who was that? The principals on that?
Hub International,
Is, Margot.
Margot?
Okay, that was the D. Margot family began, okay. I could remember. And the next question on line 7, directors and officers, you've got to pay $18,000 to put us on that,
Yes, we got your,
got our backs, yeah.
Like,
18,000.
liability, and
Wow, liability on it. Okay.
Well, that's,
It-
Well, I can
we
see,
have, you guys all are all aware, I mean, we did tell George this, so we actually got on the board, but you can
Yeah,
always
we waited
see
till we got him
personally.
on it.
See, I understand we have to maintain that for
Yeah.
you because of
Mhm.
your liability expense, this,
Exposure, yeah.
exposure.
Now George knows,
Don't
so you
scare
let the
George
cat out of the bag.
It rarely happens,
you're covered. Good.
and you will get a plate of your own attorney. You will. Don't have to use ours.
Okay, another question on Hub again, on line 27, service fee, now is that kind of like a monthly recurring?
Yes.
That's just something kind of like it says, a service fee that, okay. And what service are they providing for them?
Lisa can,
Mr. Ivy, on that service fee, usually with insurance carriers, they tack on a 5 to 10% fee onto the premium. We didn't want the employees to have, those who elect their dependents and their family, we didn't want them to have to take on that cost. Therefore, we went through, it's a fee that we just pay Hub International, so we don't have that extra 5 to 10%
Taken
out of the premium.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a fee for service. And it hasn't changed in
Well,
probably
I was
about,
just curious if do they provide a review of what's happening, or a review of incidences, or a review of the?
Yes, they'll come and meet with us and give us a report on it.
yes. And every time before renewal, we go through all that. And that fee for service has not, I don't believe has changed in about 4 years.
Okay.
It's been the same.
Well, for the size that we have here, that doesn't sound excessive at all to me either. I'm just trying to put it in my brain here somewhere, but it's
Number
cool.
13, Hub International again, folks. Pollution policy, basic stuff.
It's for our tank, our fuel tank, sir.
Oh, okay, fuel tanks.
Yes.
Quarterly? Quarterly payments?
That's a quarterly.
Yes, quarterly.
For all need here.
Yes,
On the year.
our diesel tank.
And it was recommended because we have it on site
Next to,
and in the area.
in the area.
Yeah, we do have the residential area.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else, Mark?
I think this is specialties has changed. I think that you saw it down here in 51. I don't know how much you're using it.
Oh, he's in quite often, actually, for the fair. Yeah, and Carl sold it, but I don't, did they change the name?
I think the names is.
I think they kept it.
They kept the name on it.
I think-
I just talked to Carl yesterday.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, they can
That
still
was-
work.
I met the new owner.
It's still working.
For a while.
Yeah, he's kind of like on a retainer for a year or something, he told me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think they kept, the names being the same, what I understand.
The pretty young man that bought it. I met him, do you remember his name?
I haven't met him.
Oh, I met him. Carl brought him around and he worked for him. He worked for him, exactly. Okay. Anything else? Okay, let's go to your credit card report on December. Uh-oh. This is not church.
Don't forget the milk.
No, it's not church. All right. Anybody see anything on those December credit cards? Mary, you want to explain any of them? They look okay to me, I think.
Under mine, the tools expenses, just a Topcon leveling laser that was purchased.
On that tools?
Correct.
Okay.
And on mine, the professional development, that's some of the travel that was incurred going towards, to Sacramento, that Maria
Oh,
and
yeah.
Ed and I went
Okay. Sure.
on the Supreme Court case.
Sure.
And the tool expense is the drone that we purchased and the insurance.
Oh, you
on the
purchased a drone. Who's gonna be the operator?
We've got Omar licensed already, he passed
Okay.
his test last week. And then David is testing tomorrow, I believe, David Ortega. And then Pete, as soon as we can have some classes with Pete and teaching some things, then we'll send him to take the test. So there'll be 3 operators.
Where'd Pete go?
He walked up to take a
He
phone
walked
call.
he walked out, yeah. Luckily.
I was gonna ask if he was an old dog, but you know, you can't teach old dogs new tricks.
What are the drones, what's their distance or what's their?
The drone, it can go, well, we're limited to 400 feet in height.
Yeah.
And
But
inside.
But this drone that we purchased,
Uh-huh.
you can actually program it and get in your vehicle, like to film a canal or a job site, get in your vehicle and drive, and the drone will follow you, filming right next to you where you place it. Tomorrow, Omar is going to film the Socorro Pines. So we have some film of that, and then he's going out to the job sites with Pete and going to film Wasteway 2 and the East Lot where we
So
do.
it transfers the information to here, or, I mean?
Well, it'll record it on a card.
Tablet.
A card. You can change the cards out and save them, or bring them in and then.
So you can verify a problem that somebody might and send it, or do you have to have the truck right there?
No, you can actually, he can operate it. It'll go like a mile away.
It's a line of sight, is
Yeah.
what the permit
Oh,
license. So 400 feet in line of sight.
You're permitted 400 feet line of sight, you're right. Because other than that, you have to be good.
Now, on the border, when you get close to the border, like Omar had to call in to Homeland Security that he's filming close to the border, notify Border Patrol and Homeland Security.
So they don't shoot
And
down.
they're actually they'll send a Border Patrol agent to sit and watch the operation.
And how long have you had this thing?
We just purchased it, 2
November.
months ago?
November.